by studying this chapter 2, we see that how, again, I agree with Delphia, it is not that simple. So it starts with the planning and then the agreement with the organization and the employees, and then again, the employees should have opinions about the agreements in their performance management, and it's not just about giving their pointers, you should do this, you should do that, but it's more to like improving the employees to work better, and then maybe recognizing their abilities, like giving them rewards or benefits if they do something better, or maybe if they lack in something, then the organization could provide them with trainings and such. So it is very uh, complicated. So I think that's all from what I can conclude from this chapter. That's all.
Can anyone wants to say to share again? No. That's
Is
all.
yes.
Okay.
Anyone else want to share the conclusion of this chapter?
That's all. Enough.
Okay.
And
That's all.
there's no question again anymore.
No.
Have you said?
Conclusion.
Yeah, it's a
So
conclusion.
today we learn about performance management process.
Yeah.
And then I can know performance management is not only beneficial for the progress of the company but also for the employees concerned. However, employees also need empathy and good treatment so that it affect their performance, because then they also have a sense of belonging and responsibility.
Yeah. Okay.
About performance reviews. So part A. What is performance reviews? Anyone?
Performance reviews discussion enable a perspective to be obtained on past performance as a basis for making plans for the future. An overall view is taken of progress map. Examples are used to illustrate that overview, and the analysis of performance concentrates not only on what has happened but also on why it has happened. So the data are obtained for planning purposes. Obtaining a historical perspective through analysis is a necessary part of a performance review, but reaching agreement about what should be done in the future is what really matters. I think that's all.
Okay. Thank you for your answer. Is there anyone else want to answer? Maybe give your opinion. Is there anyone? Then we should continue to part B. So give the example of the performance review.
So, first of all, as we know, a performance review, also commonly referred to as a performance appraisal, is one of the methods to measure and assess employee with efficiency, effectiveness, productivity within the company or the employees. So I think one of the example that we can take is when someone as an employee or as a staff doing their duty, doing their job, but it's still not reach the target. So manager has a main role in staying. So manager can maybe like evaluate their work on, or the managers can give like a training or meeting. So I think this performance review, it will be useful for them to make better their job in the future. I think that's all.
Okay, thank you Adele for your answer. Is there anyone else want to share your opinion? Then we continue to number 6, part C. What is the purpose of performance and development reviews? Anyone? Okay.
The purpose of performance and development reviews is to enable those concerned to get together so that they can engage in a dialogue about the individual's performance and development, and the support provided by the manager, and such support is an essential part of the performance management.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Is there anyone else want to share their opinions, or maybe they have a different figure 2.2, it is dealing with the contribution of organization and individual to performance management. Please explain that figure. Okay, yeah.
Okay, so from the figure 2.2, it is about the contribution of organizations and individual to performance management. There are a table where it consists of the organizations and individuals. So it's about the relation between them. It's about the connection between them. When the organization defines the mission, values, strategies, and goals, what individuals should do is to understand and agrees the objectives. And then when it defines the role, standard, and capability requirements and performance measure, I think to understand and agrees the role, standard, capability requirements, and measure, that is what the individual should do. And the other is the monitor organizational, team, and individual performance. That the individual should monitor their own performance. So the organization set the plan for them, and the individual should make sure that they in line with the plan to make it an action. Analysis to develop team and individual performance to support self-managed learning. So what individuals should do is to develop on performance or self-managed learning. So the organizational and the individuals should work together to achieve the goals. It's not about the manager's responsibility, but it's about them. It's not about a personal. It's not about just an organization, but the one who can move the organizations is the humans, is the resources. The workers are the key to setting a standard to make a plan into an action. That's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your very nice answer. Is there anyone else have an opinion about figure 2.2 before we continue to part A, part E? Okay, if there's none, then we continue to part E. What do you know about organizational and individual contribution? Okay.
Organizational and individual contribution is where performance management acts as a partnership between the organization and the people who work in the organization, where both parties participate in defining goals, defining objectives, and then defining standards and defining performance indicators. And then organization and the people who work will monitoring their progress and developing the performance.
Okay, thank you for your answer. Is there anyone else have a different opinion or maybe you want to share their answer? None, then we're going to continue. So in the last questions, we have two videos. The first one is explain what has been explained by the two speakers in those two videos, and then please conclude from what those videos and how do you implement.
So the first video, what can I get is in these speakers talk about performance management process. This video tell us there are two important prerequisites that are required before performance management system is implemented. There are knowledge of the organization mission and strategic goals. The second one is knowledge of the job in question. And then at the second video, mostly talk about the definition of performance management, levels of performance, process of performance management, that is performance planning, progress review, assessment, and performance review. Guidelines for appraisal, meeting, outcomes of performance management, benefits, and drawback. What can I conclude and learn from these two videos? The performance management is the systematic evaluation of an individual in organization, and performance management has on the process that every organization should face it. What can I implement it is right now I know that in the future when run a company I will do every single of process so it can make the development of my company.
Thank you, Putri, for your very nice answer. Is there anyone else want to share their opinions about the videos? There's none. Then
it is very complicated to understand. It is not as simple as we thought. It is not as simple as just when we see the organization how they work, but it's about the chaos in there. How managers see situations to give a solutions, how the manager work together to do collaborate with the workers. It's not in the human resource but also in the others. The manager should have a picture, the whole picture of the company, where they know the aspects, or maybe in one part that it is should improve or what have done well. So the timing is just make it relevant to the work what we do, and then the manager should have a sense by the human system in our body. The managers should hear, they have to see, they have to feel the society, the environment in the workplace. It is safe or not, it is healthy work or not. Sometimes it becomes toxic when they working just when they become selfish, or they just work for their self, but they forget that this company is theirs. They have to manage their own body, they have to live their own self, they have to make sure that they're the leader of their self, and then they can lead the other people, they can understand the situation. So the performance management should define very well by the managers to the workers, and it is should plan very well, from the planning to make a review, or to sometimes we need to make a meeting to talk about what we do in the last few days, what should improve, and the things that can uplift their value, the company value. So the outcome is what we expect for the high performance of the worker. It is what we expect. So to achieve them, I think it is our responsibility to take an action and to take in place in society to out to outcome our potential and to give them the best outcome of ourselves. That's all from me about this performance management. Thank you.
Okay, thank you for your conclusion. Is there anyone else want to share the conclusion? Maybe on your own opinion? So it was very nice answer from both of you. So we should continue to the part A. So in the book, there are figure 2.1 about the performance management cycle, and explain the figure on your own work. Okay, please.
So in this figure, as we can see, the role definition is top of the all of this figure, which main role definition is the key result area and capability requirement are agreed. And then the above of role definition, we can see the performance agreement or contract, which defines expectation, what an individual has to achieve in the form of objective, how performance will be measured, and the capabilities need to deliver the required results. Next one is personal development plan, which set out the action people intend to take to develop themselves in order to extend their knowledge and skill, increase their levels of capability, and improve their performance in specific area. Next is managing performance, which this stage are action taken to implement the performance agreement and personal development plan as individuals carry on with their work and their planned learning activities. And the last one is performance review, which is this stage or formal evaluation stage when a review or performance over a period take place, covering achievements, program, and problems as the basis for a revised performance agreement and personal development plan.
Okay, thank you, Putri. Is there anyone else want to add maybe another opinion? If no, then we will continue to number 3. So number 3 is about role definition. So what does role definition provide? Okay.
Maybe the role definition provide the framework for performance management. It set out three things. The first is the purpose of the role, which summarizes the overall aim, namely what the role holder is expected to do, and provide a foundation for the performance agreement. The second is the key result areas or principal accountabilities, which define the main output areas of the role and provide the heading against which objective and performance standard are agreed. The third one is aspect is a key of capabilities, which indicate what the role holder has to be able to do and the behavior required to perform the role effectively. That's all.
Okay, so since this is already answer number 3, then we continue to number 4 about performance agreement. So part A, what do performance agreements, also known as performance contracts, define? Anyone? Number 4, number 3. Okay, Sasika.
Performance agreement, also called performance contract, define expectation for the result to be achieved and skills required to achieve. Performance agreements define management responsibility for meeting specific organizational goals, help manager align day-to-day operations, and explain how work unit operations contribute to the achievement of agency goals.
Okay, thank you, Sasila. Anyone else? Okay, so then we continue to part B. What points do agreements cover? Please explain your answer. So maybe I should answer. So agreements cover the following points, which is first, objective and standards of performance, the results to be achieved and defined in terms of targets and standards. And then there are capability profile, the capabilities required to carry out the role effectively. And then performance measure and indicators to assess the extent to which objectives and standards of performance has been achieved. And then capability assessment, how levels of capability will be assessed, including discussion to clarify expectation by reference to the capability profile in the role definition and agreements on the source of evidence that will be useful in assessing capability. And then there we have core values or operational requirements. The performance agreements may also refer to the core values of the organization for quality, customer service, team working, employee development, etc. that individuals are expected to uphold in carrying out their work. Certain general operational requirements may also be specified in such areas as health and safety, budgetary control, and cost reduction and security. Any opinion? Okay, then we continue to number 5 about managing performance. Part A, what is managing performance? Okay.
Managing performance is a continuous process that reflects normal good management practices of setting direction, monitoring and measuring performance, and taking actions accordingly. That is.
Any more opinion? Okay, so we continue to part B. How do you manage performance? Adrian.
So how do you manage your performance? So first of all, I would like to provide a framework which is include a continuous process of giving feedback and performance on a human research performance. So after that, I will conducting the informal progress review and updating the objective and where necessary dealing with the performance problem on my human research. That's all for me.
Okay, thank you, Adrian.
Maybe my answer will be simple. Maybe the first one is setting goal, and the second one is set the structure, and then communicate the plan, and then evaluating, and the last one is hold accountable.
Okay, thank you.
Okay, so kind of first is by doing the collaborative communication. It's just not about a formal communication, but it makes them feel comfort and safe to talk about the job, to deliver the data or to translate the data into the information, and then to help encourage. So I want to encourage them that they sometimes they have difficulties when doing a job, and I think what managers should do is to help them to make them believe that they can do it, that this job is made for them. So we have to make sure that this potential is in line with what they are doing in this company. And then to manage something, I think it is important to choosing the right technique. So first is to monitoring the performance. It is by meeting and check-ins, and then we have to check the progress by review and evaluating. So the next is to setting expectations. It is about the goals and to give them the reward when they have an amazing job and do great to achieve the goals. And the next is the key performance indicators. It is the key KPI and the metrics. So how well the companies, the units, the projects and individuals are performed, and to enabling data. So it is the key to succeed and make a decision making. But the most important thing is to relevant time into its success and to give the feedback. I think that's all for me to manage the performance. Thank you.
Okay, thank you everyone for your opinion. So we're going to continue to part C. How should the managers manage their employees' performance? Anyone?
How should the manager manage their employee performance? It should goals can direct attention, increase persistence, and motivate the development of strategies or plan to attain those goals of the employee performance.
Thank you. Anyone else? Adil?
I think before we do employee performance to all the employers, first we have to see how the manager of the company is doing recruitment and hiring of the employees first. After that, when they need to choose best of the employees with the certain criteria, and then after that, from the manager or the employee should set goals or like a vision mission of the company, and then tell the vision mission this to all the new employees, so the employees will get to know like how to pursue the vision and mission. And then of course because of vision mission and mission that employees already know, they will be motivated by the things. I think that's all.
Okay, thank you. Adil, is there any more opinion on number 5 part C before we continue to number 6? So good afternoon everyone.
Good afternoon.
Today, me, Zakia, will be the leader of our discussion today, which we will talk about chapter 2, the performance management process. So as we know from the last discussion how important it is performance management, and for today we are going to focus about the process of performance management. So we should start from
Review?
question,
Question number 1?
question number 1.
Yeah.
So what did research conducted by Fletcher and Williams at 1992 indicates? Please explain your answer. Sazila?
Okay, a study by Fletcher and Williams on 1992 showed that the true concept of performance management is related to the approach of creating a common vision of the purpose and goals of the organization, which helps each individual employee to understand and recognize their contribution to their progress, and thereby manage and improve both individual and organizational performance. That's all.
Okay, that's a nice answer. Is there anyone else want to answer number 1? Part A? and Williams' research suggests four underlying principles of effective performance management. Please mention and explain them. Okay. Ini?
So the first one is it is owned and driven by line management and not by the HR department. Second, there is an emphasis on shared corporate goals and values. Third, performance management is not a package solution but something that has to be developed specifically and individually for each particular organization. And the last one is it should apply to all staff, not just part of the managerial group.
Okay. It's a good answer. Is there anyone else want to share their opinion? Okay. If there is no, then we continue to number 2 about the performance management as a process. Part A. What is performance management as a process? Okay.
Performance management as a process, probably the main criticism that has rightly been made about the application of performance management is that it has been introduced as a top-down, imposed and rigid a system that seeks easy solution to complex problems which it will inevitably fail to deliver. It is much better to regard performance management as flexible process, not as a system. The use of the term system implies a rigid, standardized, and possibly bureaucratic approach that is inconsistent with the concept of performance management as a flexible and evolutionary process applied by managers working with their staff in accordance with the circumstances in which they are working. That's all.
Thank you. And then
Oh, maybe my answer will be quite little. Performance management is a communication process by which manager and employees work together to plan, monitor, and review an employee's work, objective, and overall contribution to the organization. That's all.
So I think that it is a process where all of the people in the company work together to collaborate and to do a plan monitor, so that it is not just about the manager to manage all of this, but it's about the people. They have to know their own performance. It is that they are understand the assignment or not, or they have to know their ability and their potential to uplift the performance so that it can give a benefits for the company, and also give a feedback for them. They can take a lesson how to setting a high standard of performance. I think that's all about the performance management. Thank you.
Thank you everyone for all of the nice opinions. Then we should continue to number 2, part B. So, what is the main criticism that has rightly been made about the application of performance management? Please raise your hand. Okay, Sarah.
The biggest legitimate criticism of the implementation of performance management is that it is introduced as a top-down, forced and rigid system that seeks simple solution to complex problems that inevitably fail. It is much better to think performance management is a flexible process rather than a system. The term system means rigid and standardized, which contradicts the concept of performance management as a flexible and evolving process.
Okay. Is there any more opinions? Answer maybe? Okay, then we continue to part C. Vicky Wright and Liz Brading at 1992 described that performance management needs to encourage a balanced approach with several features. Please mention and explain the features. Anyone? Okay, Salsabila.
There are 9 features, such as less attention to retrospective performance evaluation and more focus on planning and improving future performance, identification and recognition of skills and abilities related to a higher level of activity, identification and recognition of qualitatively, not only quantitatively defined productions, freer ascending process,
a more instructional and consultative evaluation style with less emphasis on criticism, to focus more on the contribution of the individual to the success of the whole team, some of the goals defined in these terms. Concern for both improvement and evaluation of individual performance, no mandatory sharing of performance values and thus win-loss scenarios, and perhaps no official estimates have been given.
Okay, thank you. Anyone else want to give their opinions? Okay, then we will continue to part D. What are the main activities in performance management? Okay.
The main activities of performance management is the first one is role definition, the second one is the performance agreement or contract, and the third is the personal development plan, then managing performance throughout the year, and the last one is performance review. That's
Okay,
all.
thank you.
I want to add some points. So I think the main activities in the performance management first is planning. So it is defined into 3 stages. First is defining stage. It is consists of we have to know the goals. So the goals should be clear. The way we talk to our employee about the goals, make sure that they understand the goals, and then to define the job. So the job description sometimes it has some misunderstanding over the job, so they do not know what to do. So it is should define very clearly to them, and we have to develop the metrics. The next stage is the feedback stage. It is, so the workers have to give the input, and it is a part to achieve the success output. The next stage is approval stage. It is where the employees feels involved in a goal setting. So make sure that it's not about the manager who work in that. It's not just the manager's role, but it is our responsibility to work together in the company. And then the second is to do a coaching. So basically it is important because we have to organize the meeting, to do a training, coaching, and to give us solutions about the issues. And we have to adjustment into the goals and work. Sometimes it is not relevant into the time that we have to adjust into the new situation where to give something or where to provide something. And next is we have to reviewing. So to review the process and the goals, it makes us know how far we go from the plan into make it in action. And the last step is action. So it is what we implemented the plan into the actions. If we can achieve the standard, if we can achieve the goals, make sure that the employees get the recognition that they deserve by giving the reward or something to make them stay motivated, so that they always believe in themselves to work because they stay motivated. And I think the action is to setting the stage for the next movement or cycle. So when the time is over, when we do a work in this time, I think we have to think about the future. We have to think that we have to reset all the strategy and making into the strategy where it is relevant to the time in the future. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Just open the camera so we
Good
can.
evening, sir.
So we start now, and we can have maybe 30 minutes to study, yeah, because there's a problem on my computer, so we start late, yeah, it's evenings. Okay, so before we start, please, as usual, you must give the opening comment, please, from Jackie, Jackie, please.
Okay, so Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. Good evening, everyone. My name is Zaki Andorik Sanida. Today I'm at home. I have a good condition today. So for today, we are going to learn about performance management, which is one of the important things that organization or workplace have. So for today's, we are going to learn about what is performance management, its concept, and then many things also about performance management. That's all. Thank you.
Okay, good. Adrian, sir, please.
So good evening, everyone.
Good
I'm in a good condition today. I'm at home. So for today, we are going to talk about basis of performance management. We as a student must know about the basis of performance management to go deeper to understand well what is the performance management. This chapter need to be understood because by learn the definition, the scope, and other, we can know about the importance of performance management, which is one of the strategy that very important in human resource department with a goal to evaluate and develop the human resource in the organization.
Very good. And Salsabila, please.
What I know about performance management is performance management is very important because it is a strategy to maintain the success of organization by improving the performance of the people who work in the organization and by developing the capabilities of individuals and teams. I hope after taking this class, I will understand more concepts of performance management. That's all from me. Thank you.
Sally, please. Put on your microphone, please. Sit on your microphone.
Hello everyone, my name is Shelly, and what I know about performance management is a strategic and integrated process that delivers sustained success to organization by improving the performance of the people who work in them and by developing the capabilities of individual contributors and teams. I hope that I can understand of what these chapters. Thank you.
Okay, Halijah Nabila Putri.
So hello everyone and sir, my name is Haizan Nabila Putri, and what I know about and today topic is about performance management, and what I know first about this topic is the process of continuous communication and feedback between a manager and employee towards the achievement of organizational objective. Thank you.
Okay, Adelia, Alvin Adelia.
Hello, sir and friends. I'm Adele. What I know about performance management is to manage an employee performance and ensure that employee has accomplished all the goals like a vision, mission, and the core values of the organization.
Okay, Vincent.
Hello, sir and friends. Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Vincent. I'm in good condition. So today we will talk about performance management. And then performance management is a continuous and flexible process that involves manager and those whom they manage acting as partner within a framework that set out how they can best work together to achieve the required result. I think that's all, sir. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Delvia Putri Aspresya.
I'm sorry, sir, that I can open my camera because there's a problem. So tonight we're going to talk about the performance management. So I think the performance management is like a principle of the human resource management. So as a manager, it is a tool for manager that helps to monitor and evaluate the employees' work so that we are expecting the high performance from the workers, and it is time for the manager to measure their performance by giving them the opportunities to grow and to clarifying job responsibilities about what they do so that we can achieve the goals. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Fadilah Rizky Amelia.
Hello, sir. My name is Fadila Rizky Amelia, and I'm sorry I cannot open my camera. Today we're gonna learn about performance management, and a little bit I know about this material is the concept of performance management has been one of the most important and positive development in the sphere of human resource management in recent years. That's why we need to learn about this material. Thank you, sir.
Okay. Okay, so now it is time for Salsabila to lead the discussion, please. I have posted the question and you can lead the discussion, please. Take your time, please, Salsabila.
Okay, hello, good evening, everyone. I'm Salsabila Asli, and in this opportunity, I will lead the discussion of our performance management class today that talk about chapter 1, the basis of performance management. The discussion will focus on the questions that shared by Sir Adi. So I hope you guys prepare your answers and be active in the discussion. We will start to answer the questions. To anyone who wants to answer, please unmute your microphone. We'll start from the question of A. Explain the background why performance management is important. Is there anyone who wants to answer?
Salsa, I want to try the answer.
Yes, please.
So, for me, why performance management is important because first of all, employees are essential to an organizational productivity, profitability, and ultimately, ultimately, those results are going to happen without employee performance. Without having performance management implemented in the organization, the employee will not be able to give clear feedback, and the employee want to know what is expected from them, how their performance will be measured, or what they need to achieve in order move to the next level. Performance management encourage employee rewards and recognition. Performance management helps to create employee development strategies. Performance management allows for the exchange of feedback, and performance management creates clarification around goals of the organization. Thank you.
Thank you, Putri. Is there anyone else?
May I, Salsa?
Okay.
So why performance management is important? So the concept of performance management is one of the most significant and positive development in the field of human resource management in recent years. And I think performance management exists to increase the realization and the awareness of the importance of management and performance. Performance management also help to create development and training strategy for human resource in an organization, which is done to boost employee retention and encourage employee performance recognition and reward. By increasing the capability of human resource in organization will help organization to achieve the main goal of the organization.
Thank you, Adrian. Is there anyone else?
Me, Salsa.
Okay.
So I think from the background, so back in 19th, people do not aware about to set the performance management. They do not have a knowledge to learn about performance management. So that I think the way they work back in the past, they do not work effectively and efficiently, so that day by day until they notice that, oh, I think we should do an innovation, so that they are realize performance management is important. And why is it important? Because I think performance management can shape a workers from a row into like the one that are ready to work, so that they understand their assignment to work in that place, they understand their contributions. And then I think this is like the understanding of the workers to affect the overall growth of the business. And what makes the performance management is important is because it is a process to monitoring the goal completion, so that they can give a feedback to the company, they can do an evaluating by their performance. That's why. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Delvia. Is there anyone else who wants to answer the question? If no, I will continue to the next question. Is that okay? Okay, we will continue to the next question. If anyone wants to answer, please unmute your microphone. Anyone?
I want to try.
Okay.
The second question is talking about the concept of performance management. So the concept of performance management is that it is a continuous process, which it doesn't end at just one point. It continuously going until the workers retire or not working anymore in that organization. And then performance management is a way to link mission and goals. So with performance management, the supervisor or the employee or the employers are kind of like monitoring and reviewing the employees so that they are working effectively and efficiently to achieve the goals and objective of the organization. So in performance management, the managers try to figure out the existing performance level of the employees and work on improving that level. It is a systematic assessment of the performance of an employee and using the assessment to better the performance over time. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Zakia. Anyone else? Anyone? Okay, I will continue to the next question. Anyone who wants to answer the C question about the YouTube video? There's no anyone who wants to answer this question?
Maybe me?
Okay.
So
Sure.
from the videos, they talk about performance management. In that question, we talk about the concept of performance management. So quite similar to what I said before. So the concept of performance management that it is a continuous process which does not just end at one point, and then it is to link the mission and goals of the organization. And the components of performance management is so it have like reviews and assessment to monitor and review the employees. That is what I catch from these videos. And then what is the difference between performance management and performance appraisal? So performance management is a process of letting an employee know about their progress and guiding them with careers blockers. So in performance management, the employers kind of like letting them know what to be expected from the organization, and then after that they make an agreement with the employees, and then the employers will monitor and reviews the employees' works and then give reviews to the employees. On other hand, performance appraisal is objectively evaluates an employee's performance and give feedbacks. So we can say that performance appraisal is part of performance management. That's all. Thank you.
Nice answer, Zakia. Anyone else? Okay, we will continue to the next section of questions. Performance management defined. For the first question, anyone who wants to answer?
Me, Salsa.
Sure.
I think performance management is a strategic and integrated process that delivers sustained success to organization by improving the performance of the people who work in them and by developing the capabilities of individual contributors and teams. I think that's all. Thank you, Salsa.
Thank you, Vincent. Maybe anyone wants to add another opinion? Maybe I can add the answers.
Yes, please.
Okay. Performance management also from the Vincent answer, it's right, and I will make more explanation. Performance management is important because it is strategy in sense that it is concerned with the broader issues facing a business if that business is to function effectively in its environment and with the general direction in which the business intends to go to achieve its longer term goals. Thank you. Anyone who wants to answer this question, or we will continue to the next question?
Can I give my opinion?
Okay, sure.
Okay, so performance management has a lot of definition that I think every definition has a target of what they try to explain, and it's about performance. So basically, what the workers performs to the company. It is about behaviors and outcomes. So performance management can be measured and can be managed. It is managed by the manager, and I think that performance management is like a strategy to arrange the performance of the workers to find the most success outcome of their work by observe and put them into the right position so that they can uplift their value and standard. It is about the way we give our ability, the way we give our potential into the company, and it gives an outcome as a feedback from the company. Performance management is a way that manager trying to solve the problem from the performance that are not stable. Sometimes people are struggling in their workplace, so that we need to evaluate their performance. We need to know that this company have a standard about their performance. I think that is the definition of performance management. Thank you, Salsa.
Thank you, Delvia. Okay, I think it's enough for answer for this question, and I will continue to the next question. Anyone who wants to answer second question?
May I?
Yeah, sure.
Okay, for this next question is, there is two integration in performance management. The first is vertical integration, which is linking or aligning business, team, and individual objectives with core competencies. And the second is horizontal integration. Horizontal integration is linking different aspects of human resource management, especially organizational development, human resource development, and rewards, so as to achieve a coherent approach to the management and development of people. That's from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelly. Anyone? For the second question. Maybe Vincent? No? Okay, maybe Adrian? Okay, that's Shelly's answer, and I will add more like example of for vertical integration. For example, is Netflix shift from licensed licensing shows and movies from major studios to producing its own original content. It is an example of vertical integration. And for horizontal integration, I will make an example. For example, a manufacturer may acquire a competing manufacturing firm to better enhance its process, labor force, and equipment. Okay, I think you guys want to continue to the next question, right? Okay, we will continue to the third question about figure 1.1. Anyone who wants to answer?
May I?
Oh, okay.
Okay. Okay, Adrian first, and then.
Okay, so for figure 1.1 about the integration at a company called United Distrital, I think the figures show the performance management initiative were driven by the business vision and strategy imperative. I think the figures show that the style of the company, the system that been set in the company, the structure of the company, the people or the human resource, also the skill and or the capability and the shared value that been delivered by the company is connected and influence each other, which the result of the interaction is a synergy of the organization, which this initiative interconnected is done and integrate to create a synergy or the best performance of a company.
Thank you so much, Adrian. And Kiki, you still want to answer this question, right?
My answer will quite the same with Adrian. I think it's quite shorter, but the same. So from figure 1.1, we can see that there are style, system, structure, people, skills, and shared value in the organization, which again affect and influence each other, which this create synergy which affect the performance in the organization. So that's all my answer. Thank you.
Thank you, Adrian and Kiki. Anyone who want to answer this question again? No? Okay, we will move to the next question about the meaning of performance. Anyone who wants to answer this question, please unmute.
May
I? Okay, Putri first and then Fadila.
So for me, performance, which means both behaviors and results. Behaviors that is from the performer and transform performance from abstraction to action, and not just the instrument for results. Behavior are also outcomes in their own right to product of mental and physical effort applied to tasks and can be judged apart from results. So that's for me.
Thank you, Putri. Fadila, please.
From me, there are different views on what performance is. It can be regarded as simply the record of outcomes achieved. The first one is performance is something that the person leave behind and that exists a part of the from the purpose. And then performance should be defined as the outcomes of work because they provide the strongest linkage to the strategic goals of the organizations, customer satisfaction, and economic contribution. And the last performance is behavior and should be distinct from the outcomes because they can be contaminated by the system factors. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Putri and Fadila. Anyone else? Okay, we will move to the next question about the essence of performance management. Anyone wants to answer? Okay, I will answer this question. In a sense, performance management is a shared process between managers and the individuals and teams they manage. It is based on the principle of management by contract rather than command, although this does not exclude the need of The need to incorporate high performance expectation in such contracts. Performance management is based on the agreement of objective, knowledge, skills, and capability, requirements, performance improvement, and personal development plans. It involves the joint and continuing review of performance against these objectives, requirements, and plans, and the agreement by implementation of improvement and further development plans. Anyone else wants to answer? Okay, we will move to the next question. Adrian wants to act number 5 or 6?
5.
Okay, Adrian.
So, explain the essence of performance management. I think performance management is a process carried out by the manager in a company, individual, and team in the company they manage, where performance management is not an order or a contract, but a management principle in the company. Performance management is carried out based on agreed goal between the individual, the company, the skill possessed by the individual, the competency, the performance improvement, and individual development plans. Performance management is carried out with the aim of continuous joint review of performance, as well as being as the basis for making requirement and a plan for a future improvement and development of the performance of human resource in the organization.
Okay, thank you so much, Adrian. And then we will move to the 6th question. Anyone?
May I?
Yeah, of course.
Okay, for the number 6, performance management concern everyone in the business, not just managers. It rejects the cultural assumption that only managers are accountable for the performance of their teams and replaces it with the belief that responsibility is shared between managers and team them as customer for the managerial contribution and services they can provide, and manager and their teams are jointly accountable for the result and are jointly involved in agreeing what they need to do and how they need to do it, in monitoring performance and in taking action. Performance management process are part of holistic approach to managing for performance, which is the concern of everyone in the organization. That's all from me. Thank you, Salsa.
Thank you, Fadila. Anyone else?
I want to try.
Okay.
So the scope of performance management is very wide inside the organization because it's concerned about everyone inside that organization, whether it's the managers or the employees, because performance management is about the performance of everyone in the organization. It is to manage how everyone in the organization was able to do their work better and continually improving to achieve the goals or the objective of the organization. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Kiki. Anyone else? Okay, we will move to the next question. Anyone?
Me also.
Okay, Vincent.
I think performance management is a continuous and flexible process that involves manager and those whom they manage acting as partner within a framework that set out how they can best work together to achieve the required result. It focuses on future performance planning and improvement rather than on retrospective performance appraisal. It is provide the basis for regular and frequent dialogue between manager and individual about performance and development needs. Performance management is mainly concerned with individual performance and development, but it can also be applied to the teams. I think that's all. Thank you, Salsa.
Thank you, Vincent. Anyone else? want to give more explanation for the seventh question?
May I?
Yeah, sure.
Ini tentang prinsipal kan?
Tentang proses.
Oh, masih tentang proses. Maaf, maaf.
That's okay if you want to answer number 8, right?
Yeah.
Okay, sure.
I want to answer number 8. The principle of performance management have been well summarized by IRS in 1996. The first one is it translates corporate goals into individual, team, department, and divisional goals. The second one is it helps to clarify corporate goals, and then it is a continuous and evolutionary process in which performance improves over time, and then it relies on consensus and cooperation rather than control or correction, and then it creates a shared understanding of what is required to improve performance and how this will be achieved. Then it encourages self-management of individual performance. Then it requires a management style that is open and honest and encourages two-way communication between superior and subordinates. And then it requires continuous feedback. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Fadila. Anyone who wants to give more principle?
Sasa, I think I want to add the answer from the process of performance management.
Okay,
I think what we should, as a manager, to implementing the knowledge of performance management is first we have to develop an evaluation form. So performance evaluations should be conducted fairly and consistently and objectively to protect your employees' interests and protect your practice from legal liabilities. So when you focus only on the essential job performance area, I think we have to limit this area to focus on. And when we develop in evaluations so that we know what kind of standard that we set to our company, what kind of people or outcome from their work. And the second process, I think we have to identify the performance measure. So standard performance measure, which allow you to evaluate job performance effectively and objectively. So it can cut down on the amount of time and stress involved when filling out the evaluation form. I think if we have the current job descriptions for each position in the company, it makes easier for us to know their job desk so that we have to know what kind of goals that they have to achieve. And next, I think it is important to set guidelines for feedback. So it is about evaluations. So before we implement the performance evaluation system, I think we have to make sure that everyone who will be conducting evaluations knows what kind of feedback to give to the company, so they exactly know what they are doing and they know what is the purpose from this measuring. So next, I think we have to create the disciplinary, as we know, being disciplined about following the policy in the company about being a good workers or being an innovative workers. It is important to be disciplined, to know their time, to know their ability, also to aware about their self, to know their personality, to know what kind of job that they have to work, and they have to know how to deal with people around them. And maybe this is the last process, is to set an evaluation schedule. And so sometimes when we make an evaluations, I think, and about performance measure, we have to decide when to conduct the performance evaluations, maybe in 30 days or in 2 months, so that we have a target about it and we know the progress, we know what have done well and what should improve in the future. I think that's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Delphia and Fadila. That's a complete answer for number 7 and 8. And we will move to the question number 9 about ethical considerations. Anyone?
May I?
Okay, Shelly.
Okay, performance management should operate in accordance with the following ethical principles defined by Winston Lee and Stuart Smith in 1996. The first one is respect for the individual. People should be treated as ends in themselves and not merely as means to other ends. And the second is mutual respect. The parties involved in performance management processes should respect each other's needs and preoccupations. The third is procedural fairness. The procedures incorporated in performance management should be operated fairly so as to limit the adverse effect on individuals. And the last is transparency. People affected by decisions emerging from a performance management process should have the opportunity to scrutinize the basis upon which the decisions were made. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelly. Anyone else want to answer question number 9? Anyone else? No one? Okay, we will continue to the next question. There are 2 videos that concerning the basis of performance management. Anyone who wants to explain about these 2 videos, please unmute your microphone.
I would like to try.
Okay, Kiki, sure.
So the first video is about performance management, mainly talk about the definition of performance, which refer to all activity if an individual which occurs during a period marked by the individual's continuous presence before a particular set of observers and which has some influence on the observers. So, and then the speakers continue to talk about the scope of performance management. So performance management should conform to a broad organizational framework. Performance management assumes that managers and his team's member share accountability by jointly agreeing on what they need to do and how they need to do it, and then jointly implement the agreed plans and monitor outcomes. Performance management concerns the whole organization. It is believed that everything what people do, how they do it, at all level influence the overall organizational purpose. Performance management system may be expected to achieve more to improve organizational effectiveness integrally. And then the second video is mainly talk about performance management process. So they said that there are 2 important things that are required before a performance management system is implemented. First is knowledge, and then the second is job. So the knowledge is knowledge of the organization mission and strategic goals, and then the knowledge of the job in question. After that, there should be a constant back and forth between mission and vision and strategic planning. And then the speaker explained about strategic planning, and then once the goals for the entire organization have been established, similar goals cascade downward with units setting objective and employees goals supporting the organization overall missions and objective. So, and then the speakers continue to talk about work analysis, KSA, and job description. So after an organization already, decided this work analysis, KSA, and job description, the supervisor and the employees can formally meet to discuss and agree upon what need to be done and how, like the objective of the job, the standards, the emphasis of result, the competency, development, commitment, responsibilities, and many more. So in that video, there are also said that there are 6 steps which are recommended to conduct productive performance. First is they need to identify what the employee has done well and poorly by citing specific positive and negative behavior. They solicit feedback from your employees about this behavior. Listen to the reaction and the explanation of the employees, and then giving a positive feedback is the best. But an employee must be made aware of what will happen if any poor performance continues, and then explain to the employee how skills used in the past achievement can help them to overcome any current performance problem, and then encourage the employee to invest in improving their performance by asking about their ideas and suggestion to this particular matter. So finally, set up a meeting to follow up and agree on the behaviors, action, and attitudes to be evaluated. So at the end of the video, the speakers conclude that the performance management process includes a cycle, which start with prerequisite, I don't know how to spell this, and end with a formal performance review. And performance management is not just one-time things, it is a continuous process. So from both of these videos, I learned, a different definition of performance management and the scope of performance management. And then kind of like in the second videos, we learn more detail about performance management process. So that's all. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Zakia. That's a very complete question. Okay, I think we will continue to the conclusion about what have been studied in this chapter. Anyone who wants to share their conclusion, please unmute the microphone. Anyone?
May I?
Okay, Shelly, sure.
Sorry, I can't open my camera because there is something wrong with my camera. So, in conclusion, it must be re-emphasized that performance management is not a top-down, backward-looking form of oppressing people. Neither is it just a method of generating information for pay decisions. Performance management is forward-looking and developmental. It provides a framework in which managers can support their team members rather than dictate to them. And this impact on results will be much more significant if it is regarded as a transformational rather than as an oppressive process. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Shelly. Anyone else want to share the conclusion? Anyone else?
May I try?
Yeah, please.
So, from this topic about performance management, what can I conclude? That is, we learn about how performance management is so important to the company or the organizational, like it is important for the employee, and then the how the meaning of performance is so important, and then the principle of performance management that we should see, and then the ethical considerations of performance management. All of the topic that we discuss is very meaningful for to it's so meaningful to the company performance. So it's from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Putri. Anyone else?
May I, Salsa?
Yeah, Adrian.
So, in conclusion, for today lesson, performance management is a strategic concept regarding the assessment and development of the performance or capability of the company HR or human research, so that the performance of the company that can be aligned, so it will satisfy an organization by achieving performance that benefit for the organization. This chapter also taught me about the scope of the performance management, which is all member of the company, not just a manager, share accountability for the performance management, because this is a holistic effort where the company
Maybe something wrong with Adrian connection, right? Okay, thank you so much, Adrian. Anyone else want to share the conclusion? If there is no, I will close my section.
I think no comment.
Okay, thank you for everyone who have actively participated in this class, and Sir Adi who has guided us. Things that I can conclude from this discussion is performance management is very important because it is a strategy to maintain the success of organization. It is also about managing within the context of business. This will affect the business to about its develop, about what it sets out to do and how it operates. That's all for me. Thank you. And I will return the class to Sir Adi.
Okay. Okay, good. Thank you very much. Yeah, Fasa. So you have been the good leader of discussion this evening. Yeah, so the discussion can run well, and so by discussing like this, so the student can acknowledge, yeah, and you can also understand one another, yeah. So your friend can give a simple English, yeah, so you understand, and you can read, yeah, you can also read the books, yeah, by doing this, yeah. So if I explain something directly to you, maybe the student can have to read the books, yeah. So by doing the discussion, the student can read the book. So from the discussion, you can have a lot of knowledge about the performance management, because it's the opening, yeah, the opening subject for talking about performance management. Can you listen to me? Can you listen my voice to my voice? Can you hear my voice? Is it clearly understood? Okay, so
Yes, sir.
okay. Concerning the video question, Jackie is the best student, yeah, who can explain something, yeah, about the videos, yeah. It means that Jackie is really very diligent to watch the video, yeah. And we had the student, yeah, don't respond to the videos questions, right? Yeah, so Jackie is the best at videos, and that also good, yeah, is diligent, yeah, to read the book and then to watch the videos. So you can also study the performance management from videos. So it's very important because the speakers are very expert, yeah, at this, yeah. So you can understand, you can practice your English by listening to their speaking, yeah, and you can and know the English very well and can get the knowledge. Yeah. Okay. So actually, so when we talk about performance management, performance. So as a process, performance management can be broken down into 3 states. Yeah. So the performance management can be broken down into 3 states. Yeah. The first is coaching, and the second is corrective action, and the third is termination. So that is coaching is meant to training, to training to set up the standards for the goals, So if the company, if the employees has poor performance, so the management can take the corrective action. So the managers and the employees work together to improve to overcome the poor performance. It is the state in performance management. And so what you have answered is good. All of you have good answer. So I hope that you can understand this and we can implement the performance management. So every student also must have good performance management in your life, so right? So you must have also good performance management. Okay. So I think this is very good and thank you very much. So next week we have offline class. So we meet in a campus. And I think the leader will be Jackie. Jackie will discuss next week. On Thursday in campus. So will you write the question or I write the question, Jackie? It's up to you.
I think it's the best if you make the question.
Okay, So okay, so before we end, so everyone must give the closing comment, please. Okay, from Jackie, please.
So for me, this class is very informative and very educating because we talk with each other and then we heard about each other opinions about performance management, and then I think that's it. Thank you, everyone. Answer.
Okay, Alijana Pila Putri.
So I got a lot of things because for this today topic, I learned about the performance management from the other student and from Sir Adi also, and then I like how this class is so interactive each other. Thank you.
Okay. Vincent. Okay. No. Okay, please. Vincent, please.
Oh, hello, sir. So what I get from today class, I can know more about performance management, and I also like the situation of the class because everybody look very active and it's very fun. I think that's all, sir. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Delvia Putri Asbas,
What I want to say is I want to say thank you for Sir Adi and all of friends in here for being such an interactive class, so that I can hear your voice, I can hear your opinion and your thoughts about performance management, and it teach me a lot about performance management. Maybe I can use it in the future, and we all can use it because it's such a useful knowledge. And this class tonight gives me a comfort to share my opinion. So I think it is what makes us more getting close, and then we have such a good bonding today. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Fadila Rizky Amelia. Hello, Fadila.
Yes, sir.
Okay, please.
Today I got a lot of saya belajar banyak banget pertemuan malam ini, dan saya ngerasa dengan kelas yang seperti ini saya belajar banyak, saya bisa menyuarakan apa yang ada di pikiran saya, apa yang hasil saya baca di bukunya, dan menurut saya ini lebih efektif ketimbang penjelasan yang biasanya kayak gitu, sir. Saya lebih memahami isi buku, saya lebih meneliti isi-isinya kayak gitu.
Okay, good opinion. Okay, good. Thank you. Okay, Sally.
Thank you, sir.
Welcome, Sally, please.
I want to say thank you to Sir because it's already you already made this class, and also to Salsa for because you're already leading this discussion is so nice. And I want to say thank you to my friends because from you all guys, I already hear from the other side inside, and that can make open my mind. And this discussion is so fun because we can exchange our opinion to each other. And this for me. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Alianza, please.
Yes, sir. I'm so sorry I cannot open my camera, sir.
Never mind.
So I would like to thank sir for opportunity today for this class, and I would like to thank Salsa also to being a good leader discussion for today class. Today class being so informative about the performance management, I learned a lot about the definition, the scope of the performance management, and also the process of it. I think the today lesson can be a lot useful for us if we implement it in the future. So that's all from me. Thank you, sir.
Okay, and last Sasa Villa, please.
Today I learned so many point of views about performance management, and it helps me to give more wide knowledge about HRM, especially about the first chapter. Thank you for all of my friends and sir who participate in this discussion, and I hope we will keep up this. We will keep this spirit up until our last performance management class.
Okay, thank you. Don't forget to video record this subject so you must video record one by one You can talk about this You can review this course to the course You record and you can post your link in WhatsApp group Okay, I think thank you very much for your coming See you later next week in campus So the discussion will be led by Jati Okay, thank you. See you later next week. Good night.
Thank
Good
you,
night.
sir.
Thank you,
Thank you,
sir.
sir.
Good night. Thank you, sir.
Good night,
See
sir
you.
and everyone. Bye bye.
Everyone.
Let me. Okay, good evening, everybody. How are you this evening? Good evening. Can you hear me?
Good evening, sir.
Good evening, sir.
Good. So, this evening we are going to talk about chapter 3, performance planning. So, performance planning refers to the process of setting goals and objectives for an individual or team, or an organization, So this topic is also very important. So, as a manager, you must also be able to plan your performance, right? And so before we start our discussion today or this evening, as usual, so every student must give the opening comment. Okay, please from Delvia Fitri Aspaya, please. Delvia, can you listen to me? Please give your opening comment before we start our discussion this evening.
Good evening, sir, and everyone. So, my name is Delvia Putra Aspasya, and today's chapter is we're going to talk about performance planning. So, what I know about performance planning is a process in an organizational or a company where the manager set the plan, the whole plan about the project that they want to achieve or the goals to meet the objectives of the company. And I think when they set the goals, it is about they set the manners. It's about the behavior, how they act, how they work, and to make them focus in one goal. That is what I know about performance planning. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Please, Alizana Nabila Putri.
So, hello everyone. My name is Haizan Abdullah Putri, and I'm doing good.
and today's topics is about performance planning. What I know about this topic is a strategic process that ensures that an organization goals are met by its employee. It involves setting specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals for employee, and then creating a plan to help them meet those goals. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Salsabila, please.
Hello everyone, I'm Salsabila Shasli and I'm doing great today. What I know about this performance planning chapter is performance planning helps people to take action to achieve plan and a great result. Performance planning direct and form the basis of measurement, feedback, evaluation, and development of the performance management process. Thank you.
Okay, Vincent, please.
Okay, hello sir. Sorry, my camera is so dark because
Okay,
lagi mati lampu sir.
okay, alright.
Okay. Performance planning is a systematic and structured approach to successfully achieve the desired goals of an individual or team to the assignment year. And then I hope I can get something new about this topic and the discussion later. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. Okay, Sally, please. Sally, are you in?
Good evening, sir. Sorry, my camera cannot open right now. So, in my opinion, performance planning is a systematic and structured approach to successfully achieve the desired goals of an individual or team throughout the assessment year. A plan is thought out from the team or an individual, keeping in mind the broader objectives of the organization. That's all from me. Thank you.
You're welcome. Fadila Rizky Amelia.
Hello, sir, and everyone. Sorry, sir, I have a bad connection.
Oh yeah, okay.
Performance planning is a strategic process that ensures that an organization's goals are met by its employer. It involves setting specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals for employees and then creating a plan to help them meet those goals. That's all from me, sir.
Okay, please, Adrian, sir.
So good evening, everyone. I'm in a great condition today, and I hope all of you in a good condition too. Today we are going to learn about performance planning. Performance planning is the process setting the standard or objective of performance that organization wants to achieve. By participating in today's class, I hope I will get to know why performance planning is important in performance management and how would I do performance planning in the future for my company or organization.
Okay, so this evening discussion will be led by Ardian, please. Okay, time is just Ardian. Please lead the discussion.
All right. So again, good evening, everyone. First of all, I would like to thank a lot to Sir Adi for giving opportunity and choose me as the person who led today's discussion. So from now on, I would like to take a lead for today's discussion that discuss about chapter 3, which is performance planning. I hope all of you can actively participate in sharing opinion for today's discussion. Today's discussion will be in form of question and answer or Q&A discussion. I already sent the question a few days ago, and I hope all of you already prepare your answer to the question. So the discussion is divided into 3 sections. Which is section 1 is introduction for today's chapter, section 2 for main topic for today's chapter, and lastly section 3 is the question about references video and conclusion of today's chapter. Without further ado, let's start the discussion. Section 1, introduction. So the first question is, why performance planning is the first step in implementing performance management? Anybody want to answer this question?
Me?
Yes.
For my answer, performance planning and management is essential to building employee engagement and commitment. It ensures employees know what is expected of them and how they are tracking toward progress. It also eliminates surprise and misconceptions about an individual's performance and how it relates to the business. Thank you.
Thank you, Putri. Anybody else?
Salsa.
Please, Salsa.
Why performance planning is the first step? Because before implementing performance management, we should first do some planning. The planning task is to guide people to what is expected of them and to know how they are expected to behave in order to fulfill the requirements of their role and develop their skills and abilities. The plan also discusses how their supervisors or manager will provide them with the support and guidance they need. When the manager and employee have strategies planned, they can carry out their activities without getting confused and losing direction. Okay.
Thank you, Salsa. So anybody want to share opinion?
May I?
Yes, Delphi, please.
So why performance planning is the first step in implementing performance management, I think, is because the first should be the one that can let them, the one that can give them a guide to the step and to know what they're gonna do in the work. And when we plan something, we count what we do. So we considering all the stuff, and then we know what should work in this time and what should done in this time by the target. And by the planning, it helps us to decide something, to decide which one workers that should work in this part or something, and it is going to be the most significant contributions for the workers. And also planning is a tools to help the manager to direct the whole company to working on. And I think that planning is an information that given by the manager that translate to the workers, so they know about the job descriptions, they know the priority to focus on when they work to achieve something, to achieve the goals. So I think that's why planning should be the first step of the performance management. Thank you.
Thank you, Delphia. Anybody else? If there is no, I would like to jump into the next question. So for the next question is, what is performance planning in your opinion? Anybody want to share opinion for this question?
Me, I would to try.
Yes, Aliza, please.
So performance planning refers to a company formal process of identifying and planning either an individual or organization goals and the best way to reach them. The planning is done by both, but the employer and employee through a proper plan called the development plan. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody want to share opinion for this question?
Me, Adrian.
Yes, Vincent, please. Hello, Vincent.
Oh, hello. Oh,
Yes.
sorry. So for me, is performance planning is a crucial part of an employee's growth in the organization. An effective performance planning system will be easy to understand as well as to implement. It will also be accurate enough to provide the performance of an employee through the year. I think that's my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. Anybody else? If there is no, I would jump into the next question. So the next question is, what are the benefits of performance planning? Anyone want to share opinion for this question?
I want to share the benefits of the performance planning. So I think the first is to have an expectation, because we have the plan, we have a clear mindset about what we're gonna work. So we know the outcome that we expect, the high performance that we expect from the plan that we make. And then performance planning helps us to track the employees' progress. So we know how far they go by their work, and it is focused attention on the desired objectives. So it is set the standard of controlling. So we know how to control the workers, we know how to give a clear picture of what we're gonna do. And when we control them, we just not just correct them, but we are contributions to make them know what they're doing, to know their assignment. And then we want to make sure that they are taking this responsibility, not just for themselves, but for the whole company, so they can work with a teamwork very well. And by the performance planning, it is eliminates the waste activities. So it is really important because wasting is just something that we don't have to do when we work. So when we plan something, we have the things that can open gates to make the most effective and efficient decision to work. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Delphia. Anyone want to share opinion for this question?
May I?
Yes, Salsa, please.
Okay, so benefits of performance planning is outcome planning helps to set clear goals, create expectation, discuss future development, and address other necessary issues. The key is to help employee improve their skill, is to constantly challenge them. There's benefits of planning. This ensures that employee know what is expected of them and how to monitor the progress of them. It also eliminates surprises and misunderstandings about an individual performance and how it is related to the company. Thank you.
Thank you, Salsa. Anyone?
Me, Adrian.
Yes, Vincent, please.
I think performance planning helps to ensure that employees are working towards the organization goals and then they have the tools and resources they need to be successful. It also allows organization to track employee progress and identify areas where employees need additional support. I think that's all. Thank you.
Thank you, Vincent. So we are gonna jump to a next question, which is a section 2 of main topic. So for the next question is, performance planning will produce an outcome. The outcome which call contract or agreements. And please kindly mention the performance aspect that will be defined in the performance agreements. Anyone want to share opinion for this question? Is there anyone? If no, I will answer this question. So there is some performance aspect that will define by a performance agreements. So the first one is role requirements. So role requirement defined in terms of the role key result area, setting out detail of what the role holder is expected to achieve, or the output and the outcomes. And the second aspect is performance goals and standard, which is define a standard or a goals of the performance that already been set, or a statement of the condition that exists when a job is being performed effectively. The third aspect is definition of knowledge, skill, and capabilities, which is defined about what role holder need to know and be able to do, perform well, and about how they are expected to behave in certain aspects of their roles. This definition may be general in nature, having been prepared for job of group of job based on the board
organizational or function. However, a specific role profile must be agreed upon that reveal what the individual role holder is expected to know and do. And the fourth aspect is performance measure and indicator, which is defined as a tool to assess the extent established goals and performance standard achieved. And the last aspect is the performance agreements, which is define a company core values or requirement can also refer to an organization core value for quality, customer service, teamwork, employee development, and etc. This individual are expected to uphold in carrying out their job. Certain general operational requirements may also be specified in areas such as health and safety, budget control, cost reduction, and security. So anyone want to add opinion for this question? If there is no, I would jump into the next question. So there is a figure 3.1 that concern about focus on performance measure in performance planning. Please kindly explain the figure.
May I,
Yes, Sally, please.
So the figure 3.1, the focus for senior managers is likely to be based on definitions of key result areas that spell out for those managers their personal responsibility for growth, added value, and results. Their performance will be measured by what they do to get results. How they do it will be less important so long as they avoid upsetting shareholders, the organization, institutional sources of finance, or fellow directors too much. The performance of managers, team leaders, and professional staff generally will also be measured by reference to definition of their key result areas. The achievement of quantitative targets is still important, but more emphasis will be placed on competence requirements. In work, which may not be quantified, will be used. In administrative, clerical, and support jobs, performance measures will be related to definitions of main tasks or key activities to which continuing standards of performance, or as we know, standing objectives, will be attached as the main means of measuring performance. The performance of production workers may be measured by reference to work measured, standards for output or time taken. Sales staff are a special case. Their performance is usually measured against sales targets, but competence in matters such as relating to customers and providing good service will also be important. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. So anyone want to share opinion for this question? If there is no, I will jump into the next question. So the next question is, what is an example of performance planning? Anyone want to share the answer for this question?
Okay, I want to answer this question.
Please,
So one of the example of performance planning is when we do a sales target and activities. We plan the product, which product that we have to sold, and so that we plan the way we communicate with the audience by the marketing system, and then how this product can be sold as a target, maybe in a year, the amount of product that sold. So it is a target product sold. And the next is the size of the deals close, and I think the time that taken to close the deals. So when we sell something, it's just not about we send this product into the supermarket or something, or we deliver it to the public, but it is how this product can deliver very well. So we can keep the value of this product and we set the price according to the situation. Sometimes the price of something, of the tools or the things that sold by the company is according to the situations. Maybe there's an inflation, or sometimes we can give them like a discount. So it is a plan for the company to sell something so that they can achieve the target, the yearly target of the product sold. That's all from me.
Thank you, Delphia. Anyone want to share the answer? If there is no, I will jump to the next question. So for the next question is, what is described in the main text and key area result? Anyone?
May I again?
Okay, Shelly, please.
Okay, the main tasks or key activities are, oh my god, sorry, there is blackout. Our main duties is sometimes used synonymously with that of key results areas, and many organizations adopt one or other term without distinguishing between them. Main tasks or activities are defined, does not differ significantly from the method used to express key result areas. Main tasks are also defined in one sentence, starting with an active verb and explaining the what and the why of a task and not the how. And there should not be more than 7 or 8 of them for any one job. The key result areas describe what role holders are expected to achieve their accountabilities. God. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you, Sally. So, anyone want to share opinion for this question? If there is no, I would jump to the next question. So, how would you drawing up the plan in performance and development plan? Anyone want to share opinion for this question?
May I, Adrian?
Yes, Salsa, please.
Okay. Performance and development plan should provide answers to the questions such as what areas need to develop, what things to do to improve the performance, do we need further training, what kind of support can manager give to improve the performance, and what development and training actions should we agree and do. Thank you.
Thank you, Salsa. Anyone else?
I want to add some point of how I draw up the plans. So performance development plans is a great way to improve and to measure performance to achieve performance development plans most effective. So what we should do is first, I think, to review the performance. So the workers, they have to know their own progress when they work. They have to review their own performance. And the manager should give a direction to them. So manager should be a place when the workers can tell them about their progress, and then the manager can direct them into the most effective and efficient work. And I think second is to identify goals for improvement. So when we're using a specific and smart goals by having personal career goals, skills development, and improvement areas, and the actions. And then the next is we have to list the actionable steps to achieve goals. So maybe you like to do a training, mentoring, for the workers to provide them something that can improve their skill and their potential. And the next is to define metrics and milestones. So it is a measurement to track and assess their performance of a specific process. So the milestone marks a significant point in time. And the next is to identify what support and resources are needed. So we have to know each one of our workers. Maybe they have a difficulties in work and to do their work. We have to know what they need, maybe the facilities, maybe the training, maybe we can provide them any of the supporter to help them improve their work. And then the last is to review and to finalize the plans. So the workers have to present their personal development plans to manager with goals set and a plan in place. So this is the final step that the workers have to give the outcome from their work. The workers should tell the manager what they have done to do this job. I think that's all from me.
Thank you, Delphi. Anyone else? If there is no one, I would like to jump into the next question. So for the next question is, what does work plan set up? Anyone wants to share opinion for this question?
May I?
Yes, Fadila, please.
Work plans outline how objective will be met. They create work plan in order to meet objective, improve performance, or complete projects. They also create priorities, such as the essential components of the task that must be addressed, or the order of significance of the many projects or work program that the employee is expected to complete. Thank you, Adrian.
Thank you, Fadila. Anyone else? Want to share the answer for this question? If there's no one, I will jump to the next question. So for the next question is, how would a manager evaluating a performance planning process? So anyone want to share opinion for this question?
Me, Adrian.
Yes, Alicia, please.
So the first one is job analysis. Second is establishing performance standard, communicating the standard, determining the actual performance, matching the actual with the desired performance, discussing results, and then decision making. Thank you.
Thank you, Haliza. Anyone want to add some comment about this question? If there's no one, I would like to add some for this question. So to evaluating the performance planning process, manager can make sure the plan are based on analysis of past performance and an assessment of future demands. And the second one is the plan that we make are finalized and agreed jointly by the manager and the individual or the employee. The third one is the plan that we made set out a clear objective to be achieved by the individual with whatever support is required from the manager. The fourth one is the plan does not spell out in too much detail how these objectives are to be achieved. The fifth one is the plan indicates to the success criteria, how the individual and the manager will know that the desired result have been achieved. After some of these things been set off for the plan, there is a next step, such as the first one is monitoring and reviewing the planning progress. And the next one, or the last one, is manager are prepared to provide whatever support is required by an individual through coaching and counseling. Anyone want to share opinion for this question? If there is no, we're gonna jump into the section 3, which is a references video and conclusion. So we have 2 references video. Anyone want to share opinion for this video?
May I?
Yes, Fadila, please.
I will using Indonesia. Instead of giving opinion for the nursery, I want to give opinion for you, Adrian, because you already make a good question for us and give a lot of pertanyaan itu bisa buat kita belajar lebih banyak, terus juga pertanyaannya simple, tetapi buat kita lebih paham sama materinya juga. Pembawaan dari kelas hari ini juga enak, dan ya begitulah. Terima kasih, Adrian.
Thank you, Fadila, for the compliment. We back to the section 3. So there is 2 references video. Anyone want to share opinion for this video?
Okay, I want to share about this video. So
Yes,
there are 2 videos. The first video is about the discussion about the planning, how we plan something. First is discussions. So we consider the results and behavior, and then the result is the outcome an employee must produce. And we talk about the objectives, the standard, the emphasis, the behaviors, competencies, and the development. So in summary, performance planning includes the considerations of results and behavior and development plans. And the second video, so it is to talk about what magic words can I use to make my employees' performance evaluation go smoothly. So it is good in plan is the key to strengthen the workers' relationship. And 3 things that to keep in mind is the first, we have to share the ownership. So managers' mindset is everything. It is the key. It is about the manager's role. They take a big role to controlling the company, to move the company. And the manager and workers are partners that invest in the outcome and to make employees and the owner of the outcome. So they work together to make the best outcome for the company. And the next is to build, clarify from the start. So when we make a plan, it is to give a direction where you're going, where the company going. We know the flows of our work, and to keep us specific about managers' mind, to give them clear goals set. So we understand what we do. And the next is the workers can monitor themselves to guide and improve his own performance and to create the definition together. So the work is not about the manager's definitions. It's just not about a personal, but it's about our definition about the work. It is important so that we have the same understanding about the work, so that we have the same goals to achieve. And to keep an open dialogue, to engage an ongoing conversation. So it is not a dialogue. It is a dialogue, not a monologue. It is important. It is between people and people. It is between individuals and group. So the dialogue is the key to give them direction, to give them definition, and to let them do the work that we want, and to praise them for what they're doing well, rather than just correct what they're doing. So we give them a reward or something. So the feedback is to build trust, between the managers and the personnel. It is a really relationship to build engagement. That is really important. So this video is interesting, and I learned more about this video, that I know when we become a manager, how to keep them safe, how to make them feel comfort around me as a manager, so that we can work effectively, efficiently, because we know that our manager is someone that we can look up to. We know that this work can be difficult if we just work alone. So we have to work together. We have to build the trust between our relations with each other. That's all from me about this video. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Delphia. Anyone else want to share opinion for this video? If there is no, I will jump to the next question, which is, what can you conclude from studying chapter 3 about the performance planning? Anyone want to give your conclusion for chapter 3?
Adrian, I would like to try. So what I can conclude from performance planning is strategic process that ensures that an organization's goals are met by its employee. It involves setting specific, measurable, achievable, relevant, and time-bound goals for employee, and then creating a plan to help them meet those goals. This helps boost employee productivity and morale, as well as give business a chance to continue to align how an employee contribution with overall business goals. Several ways that effective performance management can help business accomplish more of their organization goals. Employees who are recognized and rewarded for their performance are more likely to be invested and engaged in their jobs and responsibility. Sorry for intro. So I will continue. Employees are recognized and rewarded from their performance are more likely to invest and engage in their jobs and responsibility. Performance management help to empower employee, continue and ongoing performance management give managers and supervisors an opportunity to regularly assess how an employee is being used with the business. Ongoing performance management can support better employer and employee relationships. Employee and managers who meet regularly to discuss employee goals and overall business objectives are able to define not just what the organizational goals are, but also strategize around how the employee can best meet their goals, which in turn support company goals. Performance management plays a huge role in the overall success of a company, not just an individual career. Remembering why performance management is important in accomplishing organization goals is an important step in being able to continue business growth and ensures long-term success. Thank you.
Thank you, Haliza. Anyone else want to share your conclusion? Anyone? If there is no one to share the conclusion, I would like to share mine. So after the discussion, in conclusion, performance planning is the very first and very important step in performance management. Performance planning is the stage where it produce an agreement that regulate standard, capability, objective, and what is expected for the performance of each individual in the organization. Performance planning ensures that employees are working toward the organizational goals and have the tool and resource they require to succeed. The benefit if we have a performance planning is like we allow employee and manager to identify goals and objectives that must be made for the employee to be successful. The second one, performance planning can assist in identifying any gaps in the employee skill or knowledge that maybe need to be filled. And the third one is performance planning can also help to improve communication between employee and manager, and there is many more benefits. With Learn to chapter, we know how important performance planning in the performance management process. That's all for me. So if there is no one want to share something again, I would like to close today's discussion. Thanks to all of you who participate actively for today's discussion. And I'm sorry if there is still a lot of mistake in leading today's discussion. I'd like to return discuss to Sir Adi.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, so this evening, so Adrian has done your leading discussion. Your discussion leader is very good. Yeah, so you can import all the student talking. Yeah, talking. So I want to ask you, which is better, writing you write the question or I write the question? So which is your opinion? So in my what about you? I think you had better write your question for the discussion. So by writing the discussion, you can master the materials, right? Understand?
Yes, sir.
Yeah. So if I write the question, maybe you don't. Maybe maybe you will find it difficult. Maybe So next time you better write the question and post the question in groups. Yeah, it's very good. So I have written some notes for discussion. So what is performance planning? So performance planning is very important because it's the first step. So I have performance planning. So has four stages. Four steps. So the first is defining performance objectives. So the first is objective. So you must set the objective first. So you must define. So this involves what needs to be done. What needs to be achieved, and defining the specific, measurable, achievable. Said by Putri. Delivered and time bound. SMART. So in this case, you must know SMART. SMART is the abbreviation, not the words. S refers to the specific, and M refers to measurables. And then A equals to achievable. So your objective must be specific, right? And your objective must be measurable, right? And your objective must be achievable, and your objective must be relevant and time bound. Is SMART, So if the objective is not SMART, it's not good, So the second step is identify. You must identify performance measures, It means that this involves selecting appropriate metric to assess progress toward the defined objective. Example, maybe sales figure. So when you work in the marketing, so how many products you can sell this month? It is the identifying performance measures, right? And you study what is your how do you measure your performance in your studies, right? By GPA, right? The 3.9, 3.8 is the performance measures, right? And then the third, developing action plan. So you must also do the action plan. You must have action plan. And the last is monitor progress. You must monitor your progress. This is the step for performance planning. And performance planning is the first component. Because it set the foundation. For doing the next job. And then why is it important? Why performance plan is important? Because it can offer you some benefits. What benefit can you take from your performance planning? The first, clarify the objective. Clarify the objective, and then alignment with goals. Improve performance. Right? Enhance motivation. Right? And then you have better communication. Right? And then accountability is the benefits you can take from this performance planning. So every manager must have good performance planning. So without good performance planning, so so the company cannot achieve the goals, right? Yes, it's very important. So everyone, as the student, also you must also have good performance planning for your studies, right? You must set your objective. What is your objective first, right? And then you must have work plans, yeah. And what you must do your work plan, and you must monitor your work plan, yeah, it's more control, yeah. And so if your, and then you will be rewarded, right? Based on your performance, yeah. Okay. So by doing the discussion, I'm very sure every student can understand, yeah, can know the contents of this chapter. Yeah, so planning. So you can take the lesson from this chapter. Okay, what about Salsabila? What lesson can you take from this chapter, Salsabila?
Today I learned so many points of view about performance planning and it helps me to give more like wide knowledge about HRM, especially about this third chapter, performance planning. Thank you for all of my friends who participated in this discussion, because you guys make me understand so well about this topic.
Okay, and about Devi, is good. The recipient will be as good, yeah. You will keep much talking and talking, yeah. Okay, Devi. What about Devi? Devi, Putri, Aspasya, please. What lesson can you take?
First, I want to say thank you for this opportunity to attend this class. Thank you, Sir Adi. Thank you, Adrianshel, and thank you for all the friends that attend this class today. We learned a lot about the performance planning. What I learned is now I know that the power of planning is bring the company into a better that we can achieve the same outcome, we can achieve the same goals, we can get the benefits, we can get a feedback and something. So right now I know that plan is the key. So when we work, it's not just about you work what you have to do, but it's about how we plan the way we work, how we plan the way we go with our team. And then he is the manager. Manager is everything. Manager is the mindset. Manager is the one that we look up to. So what they say, what they command to us to do, it is very affect to our performance. So manager is the one that taking a big role into this planning. And I think this is the power that can help the company. That's all that I learned about this. And I want to thank you for this today discussions. It is very interesting. That's all from me. Thank you, sir.
Okay, welcome. And Putri, please. What lesson can you take from this?
I got learned by planning is so important for the first thing what we're gonna do, and then how the impact of making a planning so big to the organizational to boost the productivity. So that's I learned today.
Okay.
Thank you.
Vincent, are you in, Vincent? Are you still in?
Yes, sir.
What can you take from this chapter?
Before that, I want to thank you to Adrianshel to lead our discussion, and thank you for Sir Adi to make this class happen. And then what I get from today, I can know about the performance planning, like the decision, and then the process, and then how we evaluate the performance planning process. I think that's also what I get for today. Thank you.
Okay, welcome. Sally, please. The last. Sally.
Yes, sir. I wanna say thank you for everyone who attend this class, because without you guys, I think I can't see the others' point of view. And also I learned from this discussion is a lot, sir, because I can know how to see based on my friends' analysis on these questions, and also I learned about how to the performance planning. And that's all from me. Thank you.
Okay, and Adrian, what lesson can you take by leading the discussion? So you are the lesson leader, and what lesson can you take from your leading?
So I think I take a listen after participate in today's discussion and leading today's discussion, because by participate for and leading to the discussion, I know that performance planning become the crucial part or process in performance management. By performance planning, it has become the fundamental or the key for us to make a good execution of performance management, so we can ensure that employees are working toward the organization goal and have the tool and resource to require to succeed, sir.
Okay, so in conclusion, that performance planning is very important in running business. Yeah, so when you want to run your office, your business, so performance planning is very important. And performance planning is not only applied in business but also in your life. Yeah, when you have got married, yeah, when you have got married, so you can apply the performance planning. Yeah. Okay, I think that's this is today. Thank you very much for your coming. Yeah. So every one of you is very good. Yeah. Good. Yeah. So can practice English, and so the video question can be answered very well. Yeah, by Devi. Yeah. Devi is watching the video and she can answer the videos very well. Yeah. Thank you very much. So I hope what you have got today can be implemented in the future. In the future, when you have got job or work in the company. Okay, thank you very much for coming. See you later. Wait. So next week we will meet in campus, yeah. Yeah. So Putri, yeah, will be the leader in campus, yeah. Yeah, Putri, yeah. So you will
Yes,
lead the
sir.
chapter 4. So I think you had better write your own question, yeah, not me. You write your own question like Adrian, yeah. Because
Okay, sir.
when you write the question, it's better than I read the question, yeah. The impact is different, yeah. Okay. Are you ready, Putri, next week? So
Yes, sir.
next week we meet in campus, yeah, at 1 o'clock or 1:30, yeah. 1 o'clock, yeah. Yeah, 1:30.
Yeah.
Okay. I think that's all this evening. Thank you very much. See you later. Good night, student. See you later next week in campus.
Thank you,
See you, sir.
sir.
Thank you,
Thank
sir.
you,
See
Yes,
you
sir.
next week.
You can leave this room.
Everyone and sir. Today I will lead our discussion today. The topic is about objective and performance standard. So we move to the section 1 is about introduction. Question number 1, what do you know about objective and performance standard in performance management? So who want to try first to answer it? Please, Alpha.
Okay, objectives refers to achievable outcomes or efforts to achieve organizational, functional, or team goals. It also refers to developmental or learning objectives related to what people need to do to improve their knowledge, skills, and potential to improve their performance in specific areas. And the definition of a performance standard should be a statement that performance meet the standard when a desired, defined, and observable result is achieved. Ideally, they should be expressed quantitatively based on, for example, service level or response speed. Thank you.
Anyone who want to have some opinion? Please, Lesbia.
So, what I know about objectives and performance standards in performance management is the objective or goals. It is what organizations, function, departments, and individuals are expected to achieve over a period of time. So it is a primary goal of a management team or a system. So performance standards can be defined as a statement of the condition that exists when a job is being performed effectively. So when we work, when we do our job, we know the standard of the company that set to the workers. It is related to the objectives or goals, the way we want to achieve the objectives. It is about how we follow the standards. So we know the value that we want to bring into this work. Thank you. So anyone? Zakia?
So my answer will be quite the same, but in short, objective is something that is needed to be achieved. For example, in performance management, the employers will give objective to the employees, like for this week we need to rise up the sales 20%. That is objective. And then performance standard is what the employers expect employees to do. For example, it is the employers expect that employees need to have a good teamwork and then leadership and etc. To kind of like saying that this is the employees that we need. I think that's it.
Thank you, Zakia. And then maybe we can move to the next question. Why objective and performance standard is important in performance management? Okay, then Zakia.
The reason why objective and performance standard is very important in performance management, because when we want to know whether or not this person is doing a great job, we need to know what this person need to achieve. Like for example, if we see people working hard, but they keep working and working, but there's no end goals in it. It just felt bland, and it's just the same like others. So we don't know whether or not this person is working good or greatly. And then if performance standard is very important also because for example, we can see it in race. There are objective, we need to kind of like reach the finish line, but everyone can do that finish line without like, if race, right, you need to be as fast as possible. If we don't have that, then there are no like criteria whether or not this person is good or not. That is my opinion. Thank you.
Thank you, Zakia. And then anyone want to add some opinion?
So the question is why objective and performance standard is important in performance management. So objective and performance is really important because they have their own criteria or standard. The first one is why those things is really important because the first one in performance standard and also is important because the first one is setting and defining the goals. So without the goals, we cannot see the performance standard and we cannot see how the management is going well or bad. And then also in setting and defining the goals, it have also own criteria. For example, like setting a target, setting a vision, and also the mission. And then I think the second one is for establishing individual training and also performance plans. On this criteria, so the company will give like training to the employees, and also this training has a purpose to maintaining their skill and also increasing the employee skills. I think that's all.
Thank you. Then is there anyone who want to add some more? Then maybe we can move to the section 2, that is main topic of today. First question is describe 2 ways of objective in performance management. Who wants to try it? Then please share with me.
So the objectives are expressed in 2 ways. The first is targets and the second is tasks or projects. Targets are quantifiable results to be attained which can be measured in such terms as a return on capital employed, output, throughput, sales levels or levels of service delivery, a cost reduction, or a reduction of reject rates. And the second is tasks or projects, are units of work to be completed by specified dates to achieve defined results. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone who want to give more opinion? Then we move to the second question, that is what are difference of objective in short term and objective long term in performance management. Want to try first?
Objectives can be short-term, especially when they are expressed as targets to be achieved by specific date. Longer-term or continuing objectives, which could be described as accountabilities for achieving results that are built into the role definition as key result areas and that may be expressed in quantified terms. That's for me.
Is there anyone else? Then we move to next question. Give the example of integration of objectives in performance management. Who want to give the opinion? Sylvia.
I think one of the example of the integration of objectives in performance management is when we do in coordination. So unification, integration, synchronization of the efforts of group members so as to provide unity of action in the pursuit of common goals. So when we do a coordination, we know that everyone work in their own path, everyone has their own way to work to do this job. But I think we have to unite this the way they work, so we know which way they choose to work, and we know that the goals are achieved very well because when we do coordination, we know that what they meant, and maybe they did some help, or I think that's the part when the managers should tell them about the integration between all of them. Maybe they have different skill, they have different perspective of something, but the most important thing is they work for one goals. That is the understanding, together understanding about the work. Thank you.
Anyone else?
Maybe I have more example. So the example is a strategic objective of a business is to achieve competitive advantage by raising standards of customer service above those of its rivals. The individual and team objectives will be agreed that specifically encourage higher levels of service, such as increasing the speed of response to customer inquiries. That's all for me. Thank you.
Then we can move to the next question. Kindly explain what the figure 4.1 in your awards that is there in books of performance management. So, who want to share the opinions about this figure first? If no, maybe I will like to share my opinions. In figure 4.1, we can see that ensure that everyone is aware of organizational and functional goals, and that the goals they themselves agree on are aligned with those goals and make specific contribution their path to success. We can see this in the figure. Corporate goals, senior management goals, department or functional goals, team goals, and individual goals has each feedback to the successful to contribution of organizational. So that's my opinion. Is there anyone else to share your opinions? If no, we can move to the next question. What are the characteristics of good objective in performance management?
So, in order to make a good objective in performance management, we can use SMART mnemonic. So, S is for specific, M is for measurable, A is for achievable, R is for relevant, T is for time frame. So, S for specific means that the objective is need to be clear. unambiguous, straightforward, understandable, and challenging. And for M, measurable, it's meant that the objective can be quantified or it can be measured in the quality, in time, or money. And the next one is A, achievable. It meant that the objective need to be challenging but within the reach of the competent and the committed person. And R for relevant, it means that the objective need to be relevant to the objective of the organization so that the goal of the individual is aligned with the corporate goals. And T is for time frame, which means that the objective need to be complete with an every time scale. That's all for me. Thank you.
Is there anyone else? Then we move to the next question. That is, describe the question that can be asked when defining objective in performance management.
There are several questions that can be asked when defining objective in performance management, which are first one is what are your key result areas, and then what do you think you need to achieve in these areas, that in the answer of the first question, and then how will this help to achieve the corporate or their departmental or team target in this area. If the suggested area target is inadequate, then what can you do to improve your result in order to reach the target necessary to achieve the departmental or team target? That's all. Thank you.
Is there anyone else who want to share your opinion about this question? Then we move to the next question, that is, define what is performance standards in your opinion. Who wants to try it? Fadila?
Performance standard is a management approved expression of the performance threshold requirement or expectation that must be met to be appraised at the particular level of performance. That's all from me. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Please, Salsa.
So performance standards describe the accepted level of performance by an employee on the job. They are based on the position, not by the individual. They describe the specific indicators of success for each skill within a competency map. They illustrate what a good job looks like. The goal of performance standards is to ensure that both employers and employees are on the same page regarding job expectation. That's why managers need to provide their new employees with the performance standards during the first month of employment. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Please, Davia.
So, performance standards are like a guidelines that the employer give to their employees. Like it is say that what companies expect of them as part of the team. It is usually given at the first time they get into the company, like so that the employees know what the companies expect them to be, and then the employers would knows that what employees that they need to choose, and then for example, the company expect that the employees were able to do this few tasks for this week and etc. etc. That's all. Thank you.
Is there anyone else want to share your opinion about this question? No, we can move to the next question. Give the example of performance standards in performance management. Who wants to try it first?
Some of the examples of performance standard is the first one. Employee must have a professionalism in their self. It means like the standard refers to how an employee acts within the workplace. Like many companies value a respectful and serious workplace. It means that when from the manager give us some task to the employees should do it with all the responsibility. And then the second thing is teamwork. So all the employers must have also the teamwork to make the task or the thing that they need to do is easier. And then I think the third one, the most important thing is communication, because without the communication, like from the manager to employee and also from the employees to manager cannot exchange the information and cannot sharing something inside of the company. I think that's all.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Then we move. Please, Davia.
So the example of performance standards in performance management is level of service or speed of response. So level of service standards means a measurement of the quality of service provided by a facility, including traffic conditions along a given roadway or at a particular intersection, and of transit service. So when we talk about speed of response, in a company where we work, we have to know that each of our workers have to understand the assignment, so they have to respond all the job that given by manager, and we have to know the way they respond. We have to know how fast they respond. It is about the intellectual. It is about them being adapted into what work that they have to do. So these two standards of service and speed of response is very important especially when we work in a hospitality or something. It is about how we give the best service and how we respond to our customers. That's all. Thank you.
Thank you. The last section, section 3, reference video and conclusion. The first question, we have 2 videos in YouTube that talk about today's topic. Please explain what both of this video talking about. What can you learn by watching the 2 videos above? And if you were an HR manager, how would you implement the theories in your organization or company? So who wants to try it first?
So this video is about the performance standards and how it determining the performance standards. The first video is about in the performance standards how we expect the level of employee performance, and then the performance expectations. It is well-defined standards ensure that everyone involved knows that performance expectations. So what numerical and non-numerical standards can be established. And the calibrating, it is a group review, so managers discuss the reasons behind each employee's rating. And the second video is about determining the performance standards. It is to help people understand to what extent the objective has been achieved. And then the standards can refer to various aspects of a specific objective, including the quality, the quantity, and the time. So when we talk about this, the criteria, the quality, the time, the standards, it is about how we know well about the performance standards. So a good standards based on the job's keys and element and task. Information should be available on a regular basis to determine whether the employee has reached the standard, and if it not, remedial actions should be taken. That's all about the first and second video.
Thank you. Is there anyone else? Please, Davia.
So the first videos is about performance standard. It's basically just explaining what is a performance standard, and then there are types of standards that can be established. And then the second videos is about determining performance standards, which the speakers talk about how and the steps of determining performance standard. They also say that good standards is like it is needed to be observable, variable, verifiable, and then it should be measurable so that people can measure whether or not these employees need or whether or not these employees is exceeding in the expectation that was given, and then etc. And then for me, if I am a manager, from these two videos I learn what is a performance standard, and then to make a good standard for my employees, it need to be clear so that they can knows what the companies expect them to be, and then it is need to be kind of like achievable so that they are not demotivated, like for example, if we give them like impossible objective, like you need to sell 100,000 for this day, and then that will not make a good result but bad result. That's all. Thank you.
Anyone else? Then we move to the last question. What can you conclude from studying chapter 4 about defining objective and performance standards? So we want to tell first what we can conclude from this chapter. Then I will try first. By studying this chapter, we can conclude that the purpose of performance management is to provide both managers and employees with a clear and consistent system, which leads to increased productivity. Performance goals are goals with specific outcomes set by an employer or manager that contribute to the success of company or team. It enables teams to have a clear and systematic understanding of what they need to achieve, and enables leaders to assess the company overall performance. The goal of performance standard is to ensure that both employers and employees are on the same page when it comes to job expectation. Therefore, managers should communicate performance standard to new hires with a month of joining the company. Provides employer with means to measure job performance and productivity across all skills. Give employees specific performance expectation for each skill, and ensure that all employees doing the same job are evaluated fairly. Then
Yes, I think objective and performance standard are important because they help to achieve a common understanding of performance requirement across the organization, enabling everyone to contribute to team, department, and company goals and core values. They also describe the exact level of performance by an employee on the job. They describe the specific indicator of success for each skill within a company map. They illustrate what a good job looks like. I think that's all.
Sir, I would like to share as well. So the question is, what can you conclude from studying chapter 4 about defining objective and performance standard? So from the chapter 4, performance, objective, and standard, we learned to define the basis for measuring performance result. So using this objective and standard, we as a manager can provide specific feedback to describe the gap between the expected and the actual performance. I think it is very important because for every job position, it is desirable for to define the performance objective and standard to track the result of employee performance. For example, communication might be a performance standard, and then the employer might explain what communication means to the company and how the employee can meet this standard. And also from this chapter, we learn how important it is because performance standards are also important, so employee can use them as a evaluation tools. I think that's all from me.
So what I conclude from this chapter is that the objectives and the performance standards are related into the same purpose, that they are setting a standard to follow by the workers, by all the part of the company, and then the objectives should they have a perspective of the same goals. The way they understand the goals, it is should be the same. And then the performance standards is set as the action, the behaviors, the result is to be achieved that are necessary for a satisfactory performance. So it is make people capable of
joint performance to make their strength effective and their weakness irrelevant. So when we know our strength and our weakness, we have to know that it is out of the standards. We have to know what we serve to the company is our strength. So that's why the objectives should be following by the performance standards to understand that not all the goals have the same standards. Every goals are set by their own standards, the way the manager count the way they work, and then the manager should taking a place into this part where the objectives should achieve by the standards that they built into this project. That's all from it. Thank you.
Anyone else want to conclude about this chapter? Then we can close today's discussion about defining objective and performance standards. Thank you everyone who want to be active in this